Individuality is the curse that destroys civilization. The desires of the individual can only work against the needs of the collective. Oneness is the way to salvation, and those who cling to their selfish individuality must eventually be assimilated. Am I talking about the Borg from Star Trek? No, I'm talking about the Golgari. Join us to see how to play as a member of the Swarm in Dungeons & Dragons. Hi everyone, and welcome to a unifying episode of
The Dungeon Crashers.
I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapeel. Before we get started, remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our informative D&D content. And definitely share this video with the hive mind so all may be brought into the collective. We are continuing our look at the guilds of Ravnica with the Golgari Swarm. The Golgari are the largest and most essential guild in Ravnica. Their fungus farms feed most of the population of the teeming world city. They process the vast quantities of waste produced by the billions of entities. The Golgari are seldom even noticed by the regular folk of Ravnica. They keep to the Undercity, ceaselessly and often thanklessly doing their work. The work of the Golgari is recycling. Nothing is wasted. Anything that can't be repurposed is recycled, and what can't be recycled is composted. This includes sentient beings. The bodies of the dead are often taken, sometimes repurposed into undead, or simply composted into feed for the fungus farms. To the Golgari, the swarm is everything. They don't look for material possessions, only to fulfill their function and strengthen the swarm. Individuality is looked down upon, and unity is revered. This is not absolute. However, there are factions within the swarm that have their own ideas about how best to advance the Golgari. One of these is the Teratogens. They are composed mostly of non-human harpies, nagas, gorgons, plants, and undead. In past times, they have held sway over the swarm, but that is changing. Another faction is the Dvarkin, ambitious elves who seek expansion of the Golgari territory. There are also the Lotlith, which are powerful necromancers and druids who create and control the legions of undead and fungal constructs that make up much of the Golgari workforce. There are the Krull, an insectoid race that control a powerful army force, and there are the Street Swarm, countless shamans, trolls, spore druids, and corpse scavengers who gather resources from the city. Another faction is the Okran. They are mercenaries and assassins, mostly elves who often believe to be nothing more than an urban legend. They are feared by those who believe in them for their stealth and potency of their poisons. They work towards the betterment of the Golgari and are known for their revenge killings. Our hero is one of these. The Dvarkin elves seem most similar to wood elves to us, so that is the race we are going to use. Wood elves are humanoid. They speak Elvish and Common. Their size is medium, and they can have a move speed of 35 feet. They have 60 foot of dark vision and keen senses, giving them proficiency with the perception skill. Their Fey ancestry gives them advantage on saving throws against being charmed and can't be put to sleep by magic. They also don't need to sleep. Instead, they gain the benefit of a long rest from 4 hours of meditation. Wood elves are proficient with long swords, longbows, and short bows. They also have the ability called Masks of the Wild that allows them to hide even when lightly obscured.
Now, each guild of Ravnica has a background associated with it, and we are taking the Golgari agent background. It gives proficiency with the nature and survival skills, proficiency with a poisoner's kit, and one language among Elvish, Giant, or Krull. If Krull are not used in your campaign, Thri-kreen or another insectile race would be appropriate. And we are choosing Krull for our language. As a Golgari, you are familiar with the paths leading through the Undercity, and you and your companions can reach any destination in the city at twice the rate your speed would allow. But the Undercity can be dangerous even to the initiated, so it's good to be cautious. The Golgari agent background also adds spells to any spell list we have, and we will discuss those spells as they become available. Wood elves get a +2 bonus to dexterity and a +1 to wisdom. Using point buy, we're putting an 8 on strength. We are slight of build and appear frail, which is useful to avoid drawing attention or appearing to be a threat. We put a 15 on dexterity, making 17 with the racial bonus. We are nimble and quick, our aim is sharp, and our steps are quiet. We put a 14 on constitution. The life of a Golgari is hard and has made us tough and resilient. We put a 10 on intelligence. We have little use for scholarly things. We can read any instructions we are given and craft poisons when needed, and that's enough. We put 15 on wisdom, making it 16 with the racial bonus. Our senses are sharp, and we know the ways of the world and aren't easily deceived. Lastly, we put an 8 on charisma. Talking to outsiders is a chore we seek to avoid, not a skill to cultivate. As with our other Ravnica builds, this is going to be a single class character. We give reasons for this in our earlier builds in this series, and you should check those out after you finish this one. But to put it simply, we want to highlight the advantages of a single class character and show that while multi-classing can help build a flavorful character, it isn't required.
Yeah.
Our first in every level will be Ranger. At first level Ranger, we get 3 skills from their list, and we want Stealth, Insight, and Athletics. Ranger doesn't offer Acrobatics, but ask your DM if you can take it instead. But if you can't, Athletics will compensate for our low strength. We get proficiency with light and medium armor as well as shields. We'll be using light armor because we intend to rely on stealth, and with our dexterity we will eventually have better protection with light armor than we would with breastplate.
Yeah.
We also get proficiency with simple and martial weapons. We are using the variant Ranger from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and at first level that gives us Favored Foe. When we hit an enemy, we can mark them. On the turn we do, and every turn afterwards that we maintain concentration, our first attack each turn on the target adds an additional d4 of damage. This dice improves as we gain levels. We can use this ability a number of times per day equal to our proficiency modifier, and each use lasts a minute. We also gain Deft Explorer, which gives us abilities at different levels. At first level, we gain Canny, which gives us expertise in one of our skills. We want Stealth, and we can speak, read, and write 2 additional languages, and we'll take Sylvan and Giant.
Yeah. At second level of Ranger, we gain a fighting style, and we want Archery. Sniping unsuspecting enemies with poison arrows from the shadows is going to be our preferred form of conflict resolution, and this will make us good at it. We also gain spellcasting. Our spellcasting ability is Wisdom, and we can use a druidic focus instead of a component pouch for our spells. We begin with 2 first-level spell slots and have 2 first-level spells known. Our background adds Entangle and Ray of Sickness to the Ranger list for us, but we don't currently want either. We want Hunter's Mark, which adds a d6 damage whenever we hit with an attack. This is strictly better than our Favored Foe ability, but does require a spell slot. We also want Hail of Thorns. This does require concentration, so be sure to use it before casting Hunter's Mark or using your Favored Foe ability. But it adds a 5-foot radius burst of damage to our next ranged weapon attack, giving us a nice option against groups of enemies. At third level of Ranger, we get our Conclave, and we are going to be a Swarmkeeper. As such, a swarm of nature spirits has bonded to us. These intangible spirits appear to be some sort of tangible thing, in our case, insects. Once on each of our turns, our swarm can assist us after we have hit a creature with an attack. We can choose to have the swarm deal a d6 piercing damage to the target, or the swarm can attempt to move the target 15 feet horizontally in any direction. The target gets a strength save to resist, or we can have the swarm move us 5 feet in a direction of our choice. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity, so could be used to help us get safely away from an attacker. We also get Swarmkeeper magic. We learn the Mage Hand cantrip, and when we cast it, it takes the form of our insect swarm. We also learn the Fairy Fire spell, and it doesn't count against the number of Ranger spells we know. We learn another Ranger spell at this level, and we want Cure Wounds, so that we can tend to ourselves when wounded and acting apart from our companions. We also gain Primal Awareness, which gives us certain spells known at each spell level that don't count against the number of spells we can know. At this level, we gain Speak with Animals, which can be useful to gain useful information and possibly even convince the animal to perform a small task for you. At 4th level, we gain an ability score improvement or a feat, and we are going to take the Elven Accuracy feat. This adds a +1 to Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma, or Dexterity, and we are going to use it to increase our Dexterity to 18. And whenever we have advantage on an attack, making use of one of those ability scores, we can re-roll one of those dice. Alternately, we could take the Piercer feat, and it would give us a +1 to Dexterity and allow us to re-roll a damage of the piercing attack we make once per turn, and we can also add an extra dice of damage when making a critical hit with our piercing weapon. Which feat is better for you will depend on your campaign and how easy it is to gain advantage during encounters.
At 5th level Ranger, we get extra attack, allowing us to attack twice instead of once when using the attack action. With a longbow or rapier and using Hunter's Mark, we can deal 2 attacks, each for a d8 plus 1 d6 from Hunter's Mark, and an additional d6 from our swarm on one of those attacks. We also gain 2 second level spell slots and can learn another spell which can be 2nd level. Our background adds the spells Protection from Poison, Ray of Enfeeblement, and Spider Climb to the Ranger list for us, and we want to take Spider Climb. As we intend to be primarily an archer, this will allow us to attack from safely out of the reach of many enemies. It can also be very helpful in sneaking around undetected, as well as for avoiding hazards and obstacles. Primal Awareness also gives us the spell Beast Sense known for free, and this can be a very useful scouting tool. From Swarmkeeper, we gain Web as a spell known, which is an excellent way to hamper or even nullify some enemies. At 6th level Ranger, our favored foe dice increases to a d6, making it a useful alternative to Hunter's Mark, even though it can only work on one attack per turn. Also from Deft Explorer, our movement increases by 5 feet, and we gain climbing and swimming speeds equal to our walking speed. And at 7th level Ranger, from Swarmkeeper, we gain Writhing Tide. Now our insect swarm is powerful enough to lift us in the air. A number of times per day, equal to our proficiency bonus, we gain a fly speed of 10 feet per 1 minute, and we can hover. This is another excellent way to fire safely at our enemies without being counterattacked, but beware of flying foes and those with range attacks. We also learn another spell, and Healing Spirit is a bonus action healing spell that can heal multiple times for its duration. We can also have it appear as a cloud of insects, so it fits well with our theme. At 8th level Ranger, we gain an ability score improvement or feat, and we want to take the Sharpshooter feat. It gives us a number of abilities. Firstly, attacking at long range does not give us disadvantage on attacks, making it even easier for us to strike at foes outside of ranges where they can retaliate. Our attacks also ignore half or three-quarter cover, making it harder for our enemies to hide from us. Before we make an attack with a ranged weapon, we can take a -5 penalty on the attack and gain a +10 to the damage of that attack. This is usually worth it unless the opponent is very difficult to hit. With an 18 dexterity in the archery style, we will still have a good chance to hit even with the penalty, particularly if we have elven accuracy and advantage.
Yeah. At 9th level of Ranger, we gain 2 3rd level spell slots and can learn another spell that can be of 3rd level. Our background adds Animate Dead and Plant Growth to our Ranger list, and we want to take Animate Dead as our spell known. An Undead Servant has countless uses and can occupy enemies while we pick them apart with our arrows. It could even grapple or shove enemies prone, or even use the help action to give us advantage to attack, allowing us to take advantage of our Sharpshooter more. Primal Awareness adds Speak with Plants to our spells known, giving us another excellent information gathering tool. Also, Swarmkeeper gives us Gaseous Form as a spell known, which is one of the best scouting spells available. It is also useful for avoiding hazards, escaping traps, and many other things. At 10th level, our Depth Explorer feature grants us Tireless. A number of times per day equal to our proficiency modifier, we can use an action to gain temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus our Wisdom modifier, and whenever we complete a short rest, we can reduce our level of exhaustion by 1. We also get Nature's Veil. A number of times per day equal to our proficiency bonus, we can use our bonus action to become invisible until the start of our next turn. If we use this prior to attacking, it gives us advantage on attacks against enemies that can't see us. At 11th level of Ranger, from Swarmkeeper we gain Gathered Swarm. The damage from our swarm increases to 1d8. If a creature fails its save to avoid being moved by our swarm, we can cause it to be knocked prone, and if our swarm moves us, we gain half cover until the start of our next turn. We also learned another spell of up to 3rd level, and both Lightning Arrow and Conjure Barrage are good choices, giving us area of effect options to help deal with multiple enemies. At 12th level, we get another ability score improvement or a feat, and we are going to cap our dexterity off at 20. For better accuracy and armor class, this is especially useful at making Sharpshooter more reliable. At 13th level of Ranger, we gain a 4th level spell slot and can learn another spell that can be a 4th level. Our background adds the spells Giant Insect and Grasping Bind to our spell list, and we want Giant Insect. It can create some pretty strong creatures that obey our commands. It does require you to actually have the insect in range, but considering our nature, it's not out of character for us to keep soldiers, centipedes, wasps, or scorpions on us as pets, as we frequently find ourselves in environments where these creatures are common. Maybe talk to your DM before taking this spell, but it shouldn't be a problem. Primal Awareness gives us the spell Locate Creature for free, further increasing our usefulness as an information gatherer and scout. In addition, Swarmkeeper gives us Arcane Eye as a spell known, allowing us to scry ahead, gathering information in advance. At 14th level of Ranger, our favorite foe dice increases to a d8, making it an even more viable alternative to Hunter's Mark, although Hunter's Mark is still superior if you can afford the spell slot. We also gain Vanish, which allows us to hide as a bonus action on our turn. Combined with our Wood Elf ability to hide when only lightly obscured, and our expertise in stealth, we can and should be using this ability frequently. We also can't be tracked by non-magical means unless we choose to leave a trail.
And at 15th level from Stormkeeper, we gain Swarming Dispersal, which allows us to use a reaction whenever we take damage to gain resistance to that damage. When we do, we vanish into our swarm and teleport to an unoccupied space we can see within 30 feet. We can use this reaction a number of times per day equal to our proficiency bonus. We also learn another spell that can be 4th level, and Dominate Beast can gain you the help of a wide variety of giant insects, rats, bats, and other creatures common to the Undercity. It isn't limited, of course, and if you come across a wolf, bear, mammoth, or other creature, it would work just as well on them. At 16th level, we gain another ability score improvement or feat, and we want to increase our wisdom to 18, improving our perception as well as our save DCs and spell attack rolls. And at 17th level Ranger, we gain a 5th level spell slot and can learn another spell that can be 5th level. Our background adds the spells Cloud Kill and Insect Plague to our Ranger list, and we want to take Cloud Kill for another powerful area of effect option, which, while sometimes hard to use, can be very effective in the right situations, and our preferred environment of the Undercity offers a lot of good situations to use it in. Primal Awareness adds Commune with Nature to our spells known, giving us another powerful information gathering tool, and Swarmkeeper gives us Insect Plague as a spell known for free, giving us yet another good option for dealing with multiple enemies. At 18th level Ranger, we gain Feral Senses. We don't get disadvantage attacking creatures we can't see, and unless we are blinded or deafened, we are aware of the location of any invisible creature within 30 feet unless they're hidden. And at 19th level, we gain our last ability booster feat, and we're going to increase our Constitution to 16. Our hit points are a bit low, even for a character that tries to avoid being attacked, and we can also benefit from better Constitution saves and concentration checks. We also learn another spell of up to 5th level, and Swift Quiver enchants a quiver to provide unlimited magical ammunition for 1 minute, and during that time, on each of your turns, you can use a bonus action to make 2 attacks with a weapon that uses that ammunition. And at 20th level, we get Foe Slayer, allowing us to add our Wisdom modifier to one of our attack rolls or the damage roll of one of our attacks. This is a nice ability, but a pretty underwhelming capstone compared to what many other classes get. It wouldn't be at all overpowered if you could use this on every attack roll, so talk to your DM. We haven't had a level 20 Ranger in our campaign, but I would definitely allow this.
Yeah. This character is the ultimate scout, amazing at stealth and tracking, and having a number of spells for information gathering. It is also a powerful archer, capable of dealing a great deal of damage, and often being able to avoid being attacked in return. If scouting is something that is used in your campaign, this could be the character for you. And even if scouting doesn't come up often, this is still a powerful character, with a lot of utility outside of combat. If you have any questions, comments, or build requests, please leave them in the comment section below. Next week, we continue our Guilds of Ravnica with the Mighty Warrior of the Boros Legion. Until next time, cheers!
Cheers!